Hi everybody, it's Dan here, and if you can hear this bell, that means my cat Belly is joining us today for this quick message. I just wanted to start this episode off by giving a quick trigger warning in case anyone out there might want or need it. This book, Summer of Salt, heavily discusses sexual violence towards women, more explicitly rape. Because of that, B and I talk quite a bit about that topic in this episode. I think it's an interesting conversation if you're interested in it at all, but if that material is too heavy or not really something you want to listen to right now, I might recommend skipping it or just continuing with caution. Either way, we hope to see you next time, and as always, please take care of yourselves. Okay, on to the episode.
Hello, and welcome to Read the Last Page,
A yap session
book club
with your two favorite long-distance best friends.
The book we read this month is Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. Or Leno. I don't know. Leno.
Exactly. Since we finally read the last page, let's talk about it. Hi, B. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
The weather's amazing.
Oh,
Literally
yeah.
could not ask for better weather. So I'm hoping that like sticks around for longer. Like for a month would be wonderful.
And then just go straight into fall. Like you're
Right,
ready for
like-
fall immediately. Yep.
It's that crisp. There's the crisp in the air before fall. August is slipping away.
Literally.
Yeah, I am on a new laptop, so if you guys are seeing more of my bedroom, like, ignore
review.
my stash of stuff back here. This is all fine. My bookshelf, it's a little bit in disarray, but yeah, I'm good. Honestly, I'm starting a new nanny job this coming week. So I'm really excited about it. I love the kid that I'm gonna watch. He's like sweetie pie.
Cute. Okay.
But I'm not used to watching a child from 9 to 5 multiple days a week.
Oh, I see.
So like I'm not like so worried about it, but it's just gonna be different. It's gonna be an adjustment. So yeah, that's like what's coming up in my life. But I'm excited to have more money than I have right now. So yeah. Well, how are you?
Good. Yeah, we've also been having really good weather here to the like point where I've been just like our AC's been off for maybe like the past week, and we've just been keeping the windows open.
Oh,
that's very nice. Very nice. But yeah, and I also realized, since we were talking about like setups with our computers, since I'm in my new place, I have a different setup. And now I'm like, oh, you can see my bed, and you can like see that I don't have a headboard. It's been really
I don't have a headboard.
really bugging me, because I'm like, okay,
Oh.
it's fine for like the me community to know that I don't have a headboard in my late 20s, going into my late 20s. But like for anyone out there
Yeah.
who's not kind to the me community for not having a headboard, guys, the headboard's on the list of things to get.
It's okay. I don't have one
headboard.
either.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You can go.
My bed frame is like literally. It wasn't from Amazon, but it was just like from Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever. It's just like a metal. It's just like a little thing, a metal flat thing to put your mattress on. Like it's not.
Too. Well, here's my excuse, and it's not a good excuse, but it's an excuse. Like I have been moving so much in my 20s, and also like I have just recently, I guess in the last 3 years, like moved out of furnished apartments. So every apartment that I've lived in up until my last one came with like a bed and like a bed frame, and I didn't have to worry about a headboard.
That's so interesting.
And then I got this mattress and my bed frame from my older sister, who was moving to Chicago, and she was like, I am not lugging a mattress to Chicago. I don't want to get I don't want to get a moving truck. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. And so I literally got it for free. And so I'm like, I could get a headboard, but it just never feels important to me.
Yeah, you could get. There's like those ones that's just like. It just like sticks to the wall or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably gonna do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't probably get a whole new bed frame just because I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I will probably just get a headboard, so I feel a little bit more put together. But yeah, I just felt like I had to defend myself real quick. any of the
you're safe with
interior
me.
designers. Thank you.
I don't know about everybody else that's watching.
Everyone else, those haters out there. I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
I saw Weapons.
you saw Weapons.
Yeah.
Thoughts and feelings.
It was good.
You liked it?
It was good. Yeah, I liked it.
That's good.
I really liked I was actually listening to our last episode, and I was saying, oh, I should go see it. And you were saying, like, oh, yeah, he does, like, the director does the really cool storytelling where you go back in time. Or, like, you're kind of rewatching the same 2 days, but from different perspectives. And I loved that.
Yes, it
was
fun.
so good. And, like, especially, like, the order that he went in of, like, each character, like, very good, intentional. Of course, it was a little gory, which I like, but Seth covered my eyes for parts of it.
That's good.
And then he told me when it was like safe to look again. So
good.
That was good. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I liked it. It was interesting.
Yes, I agree. I think it's one of those movies that I don't think this is much of a spoiler, but if you guys don't want to know anything about the movie, then just skip ahead 30 seconds. But I think it's one of those films that you go into it and you're like, oh, this is totally fine. This is like barely a horror film. It's more like mystery thriller-ish. And then all of a sudden, it like, I think midway, you're like, oh, that I'm not looking at that. Yeah, I had my sweatshirt covering my eyes for a majority of one character storyline. I think you know which one.
Yeah.
And my friend Kara was with me, and she kept going, "You're so brave. You're so brave." Like, thank you.
I love that.
Yeah, but I did really like that movie. I thought the child actor who played Alex in that, I think that's his name, so good. I'm like, that's a future Oscar winner to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, because I think sometimes when kids are that young, like, if their performance isn't, like, doesn't, like, if it's not, like, so amazing, I'm just like, well, it's a kid, and, like, I understand, and I'm not gonna, like, I would be annoyed at an adult not giving a great performance, but when it's a kid, it's just, like, you kind of just accept it. But I never once while watching that had that thought of, like, I'm letting it go because he's a kid. He was really
so good. He was so believable. Oh my god, this is such a good film. Anyway, so yay, cool. I'm glad you saw that. Did you say that you saw it? Because I saw your tweet. Did you say you did a double feature of that and then Black Swan?
Yeah, so
that's
Black
wild.
Swan, it was like, I don't know, maybe the 20th anniversary
maybe
or something.
15th.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it was like, for some reason it was just in the theater that weekend, and we already had tickets to Weapons, and Seth really likes Black Swan. And since he knows, like, I do ballet and stuff, he'd been telling me, we should go see, like, you should watch that sometime. Well, then we saw it was in the theater, and he was like, oh, but we're already seeing Weapons. I was like, we can go see 2 movies in one day.
So we did. Favorite activity, Loki.
So we did. And yeah, it was really good. Like, I've heard about that movie for years.
Yeah.
And it's been on my list of, like, someday I need to watch it. I don't know. I just never had.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was basically what I thought it was going to be, but like, but it lived up to and beyond my expectation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, I love that.
Yeah, it was more in the mind. Yeah, it was more in the mind than I thought it would be. And that was really cool. Again, the body horror, I'm not a fan of body horror. Yeah, for me, the worst part was like when the feathers were sprouting out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, I couldn't watch that. But yeah, but the ending, you know,
it's so good.
It's so great because Seth and I actually went and saw ABT perform Swan Lake, you know, like recently, like a month ago. So, and then, like, you know, so that was fresh in our minds.
Yeah, that's so timely.
We knew, like, the context of everything, like, in the ballet sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so that was
cool.
fun.
I feel like there's so many, I don't know how many you see. Maybe I just see a lot because I interact with a lot of film people on like Twitter or Instagram or whatever. I feel like there's so many like memes, like reaction photos that come from that movie.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
I think it'd be so funny just like to watch that and be like, oh, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah, it was. I did like recognize certain shots and things. Just from being on Twitter and whatnot for years.
Or like even I remember, because I haven't seen that movie in years. I think I watched it in high school for the first time, but I remember just being like, Winona. Like Winona.
I literally did that.
Yeah,
and she came on the screen and I turned to him. I was like, Winona Ryder. Like,
literally.
Yeah,
I love.
Which
seeing
like
her person.
I love. I think Natalie Portman and Winona Ryder both have that like. They have that ballerina essence to them, even though they're not like. I don't know. They just have that like.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
I get
prima.
that. Oh,
so they were good choices for that. But so shall we talk about this month's read?
Yes. Well, okay, also before we get into that, do you have show and tell?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to show what I'm reading lately. So as you guys know, because I've been bringing this up every time, I've been reading straight on till morning. But look how close I am to the end.
Ooh, she's getting there. I love that.
So I'm making good progress. But I also just started this book called Temple Alley Summer that I got from the Brooklyn Book Festival last year. And I told myself, oh, you should read this next summer. And I was like, okay, I got to start this in August because I was like, oh my gosh, summer's almost over. But it's like middle grade. Winner of the 2022 Mildred L. Batchelder Award. So it has an award, but it's translated from Japanese, so it's like a translated book. But it's cute. It has some little pictures and things in there.
Oh, nice.
That wasn't a very good show and tell, but you know, like it's fun.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
Like, look how cute that is.
I was gonna say I love that cover.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I'm about maybe 20 pages in. Let's see. Oh, 39. Okay.
Exactly.
Further than I thought.
Wait,
So,
that's exciting.
yeah, that's just what I've been reading. I just thought I'd update
The
everybody.
peeps. Yeah, just so everyone knows. Okay, well, I have a book too that I want to share. I literally picked this up from Barnes & Noble yesterday, and I somehow convinced my bookseller to also buy the book. And I was like, wait, should I work here? I feel like I should work here.
That's amazing.
Anyway, so it's pretty popular on TikTok, so you guys have probably seen it, but it's Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang's like a very popular author, I would say. She's done like Yellowface, Babel, The Poppy War, if you've heard of any of those things. But
I think I have.
But like, look how pretty this is. Like,
wow.
literally, and then like inside, so pretty.
Ooh, I'm seeing math.
Yes.
I think I might be interested.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much math is actually in here, so I started this last night. I'm like a chapter in. It's essentially about two grad students who, it's a fantasy. So their professor gets sent to hell for reasons I'm not sure of yet. And they decide that because they need a recommendation letter from him so badly to get like the careers that they want, they decide to go to hell to bring him back.
Oh my gosh.
and so it's gonna be that. It's on the back. It says it's a hell of a story.
That's okay. This is like, that's a commentary on like how desperate the job
literally
is.
That's what I love about R.F. Kuang. She's like such a smart person. She has maybe like 3 degrees, and she's not even 30, and she has literally released maybe 5 best-selling books so far. She's incredible. Also, by the way, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Sorry, that's not even important, but every time I have to stare at her author's photo and I'm like, wow.
Imagine winning in every category of life.
I know. I'm so anyway. But so she is always writing such fascinating stories, also just very like intellectual and like rich stories about specifically like maybe academia or like, you know, the Poppy War is obviously about like war. I know Babel is about like it takes place in Oxford, and it's about, you know, just like that inherent racism of like, you know, that's the structure of Oxford and like how steeped in that all is. So, you know, every single thing she's ever written, I'm like, it has like this very like interesting message behind it. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be. Also, I've never heard the word catabasis before.
Yeah, me neither.
And so I'm like, okay, like I hope I'm saying that right.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. Disclaimer to everyone listening. Someone's playing music really loud outside. And I think I don't know if you can hear it, Dan, but I'm pretty sure my mic's picking it up. So we just get a little backtrack for a little bit. So just enjoy. But we're just sorry if that's like bothersome. But
fingers crossed, no copyright claims.
Can
pop up on that video.
I think hopefully it's muddled enough.
Yeah. True. But we did post the entire movie of Frozen one time. YouTube video. So
yeah.
You know, cool. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, should we get into the Summer of Salt? I guess it's just Summer of Salt. Yeah. Wow.
You want me to try to?
Yeah. I don't want to try to
give a synopsis of this.
Yes.
All right. So this book follows the girl Georgina as the main character, and she has a twin sister, Mary. And they live on an island, I believe, in the Pacific Northwest. But it's kind of, I don't think this island exists. But it's just like, it's there, you know. It's not really, it's not specific about where it is. But anyways, Georgina and Mary are in their final summer after they've graduated high school. College is on the brink of happening for them, so it's coming of age, but they are part of a family of women that all have, for the most part, all have a special power or a special gift that they come into at some point. Could be when they're born, could be when they're 5, could be when they're 12, but everyone gets their power, if they have one, by their 18th birthday. The girls are 17. Mary has had her ability to float for, I think, most of her life. I can't remember exactly.
Yes.
But Georgina, who we're following, has not discovered a power yet, and her 18th birthday is coming up very soon. So she's grappling with that. And so on this island, there's this bird that has, it's like rare, one-of-a-kind bird that has amazed the, I can't say ornithological.
I can't.
The bird studying
people,
the bird researchers.
Yes.
And so every summer, people sort of make this trip, almost like a pilgrimage, to come back and study the bird, and they're always waiting to see if she's gonna lay eggs, and it's kind of a mystery of where is she the rest of the year, and why does this bird exist. And the sisters feel like it has something to do with their like magical family, but that's not really something that's disclosed to the rest of the people. So I'm trying to decide, like, how much do I tell without I don't want to get into a spoiler, but basically it's just about that. That's like the premise. So it's another summer. The people are coming in, lots of old faces that have been there for many years, a couple new faces. And again, it's just always the mystery of the bird and studying about it that summer. But as coming of age goes, you know, the times are different. More is about to happen in their future, and so there's tensions and there's mystery and there's things happening. I don't know what else to say.
I think so. We went into this book thinking it was going to be straight up YA magical realism. It kind of, towards you, the further you get, you're like, oh, is this kind of like a mystery more so? And then it just turns into something that's completely different. So I don't know, but it's got all those elements in there. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good,
that's the
summary.
General beginning synopsis.
Definitely an oddball of a book, just because it was a lot of things going on. which maybe to some people that's positive and some people it's negative. We'll get into it.
We are gonna get into it. General thoughts before we speak spoilers. Yeah, just basically what Dan said. Like it was there was we didn't really know where we were going. So that was made it an interesting read.
Yeah.
Some ways I would say interesting as a positive word. Some ways I would say interesting as a negative word. It was just. I'm left a little bit wondering.
26 is the year of wondering, for real, especially with this book.
So I think also on the last podcast I had, because I had already started this a bit and you hadn't.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it's like reminding me of like a lot of the middle grade books I read.
Yeah.
So there's an aspect of younger whimsy to this, and sort of, because I read a lot of middle grade and often things that have an element of magical realism like this does. And what I like about middle grade books that do this a lot of times is that it's one aspect of the book and it's not all consumed by the magic. You just like accept that is the reality of their life, and then we just like go with it. And I feel like this had that, which I really like. I was a little bit confused at first when reading it because I felt like I was reading middle grade because it reads a little bit young, but the girls are about to turn 18, so that was sort of an interesting thing, but I was intrigued because I like to read books like that. And so, I'm not really saying that as a negative or positive, just a thought. But
yeah. Well, one thing that I will say about this that might garner interest from the listeners, I believe it's kind of supposed to be based off the book/movie Practical Magic, which I definitely saw so much of that while reading that. Have you ever seen that movie or read that book? No. Okay. It's a favorite of my sister, so I've seen it a lot with her. It's just interesting because, like, you know, in the movie, maybe also the book, haven't read the book, but it's very much about the sisterhood, and then you know, like a mystery in the sisterhood about like a bad man who kind of comes in one of the sisters' lives. This does not do that. This instead, we're following birds for a majority of it. And I thought that was a very interesting kind of spin on that story. Not one that I was ever interested in. Unfortunately, I could not care about the bird. So we'll talk about that more in the spoiler section. But it's just like, it definitely starts off a bit like, this is a typical coming of age story, and I think it's it was slowish for me to kind of get into it, because you know, it's like we're in this seaside town, and like we're like, it's a huge time of like changing, and like what another thing is like, this is a bit of a romance, just a little bit, and I thought that was a really interesting kind of topic that approached to approach, because it was just, you know, it was also a coming of age story about like this young woman who was trying to like figure out her sexuality and really come to terms with her sexuality, which I thought was one of my more favorite kind of aspects of the book. But like, yeah, it definitely around the 50% mark I think takes a bit of a turn. That's all I'm gonna say, really, for non-spoilers. I don't know how much to talk about.
I feel like we just have to talk. We just gotta go into spoilers, because there's so much to discuss, and because of the sort of mystery aspect of it, and then like what happens after that, it's like, it's just too much. We just gotta get into it
to walk around. So if you guys don't want spoilers, we will catch you next time. Perhaps read this book. I don't know if I recommend it or not, actually.
I don't really know that I recommend it either. It wasn't. It's not like it was like, well, I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard. Okay, this is what I'm thinking is my grand final statement about this. I think this is a weird book for a certain group of people who kind of like oddball weird books. I
Yeah.
think there definitely is an audience out there that I 100% get why they like this. It definitely takes a lot of big swings, which
Yeah.
I respect it for doing that, even if it didn't always land for me.
Yeah.
So I think if anything that we just mentioned sounds kind of interesting to you, pick it up.
Yeah.
You might want to get
go
to
ahead,
at
yeah.
least halfway through and then see if it's going where you want it to go.
The good thing is it's not going to take you long to read.
No,
so
it's super quickly.
If you decide to
quickly.
read it, like, it's, first of all, it's just not that many pages, like less than 300, maybe only like 250-ish, and it just the prose, like the writing itself just reads really fast.
Yes.
So unlike, what did we read last? The Lee Bardugo one, something
Yeah,
like
that
that, takes a little more
brain energy.
Yeah, but this was just like you'll just be able to read it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just talk the whole thing.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
Huh. So many thoughts. So I'll just start by saying this. It was a little over 250 pages, and on page 39, this is the first note that I wrote down.
Okay.
So beginning of the book is what I'm saying.
Okay.
My prediction is her powers are influence over the weather. Think of her dad and it rains. Snow flurries when she woke up hungover. But now it's hot because she's a little mad with her sister.
Go off. She guessed it.
I just had already been thinking that, and then by whatever happened on that page, I was like, okay, I just got to write this down so that I can see for myself later. Was it supposed to be that obvious to the reader?
Everything. Okay. Sorry. I don't want to be too. Like I said, I actually have mad respect for this book for what it tried to do. I just don't think it landed for me. So I don't want anything I say to come off too rash. But a lot of this, it felt very unfortunately predictable for me. Nothing felt like so well-rounded in the way where it felt like I was not 5 steps ahead maybe of the plot in some ways. I don't know how to explain it, but no, I get that.
Again, and I feel like this goes back to what I felt like middle grade wise. I feel like the way that her power with the weather and stuff was written, I'm like, oh, maybe someone who was 10 or 11 wouldn't have picked up on that so early. But for me, it was just so blatantly obvious. Oh, I don't have my power, but and when I was born, it poured rain, and I'm really sad, and it's raining, and I'm really angry, and it's hot outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just when the reveal finally came,
200 pages later.
Yeah, it just wasn't satisfying because I just felt like I had already known it for the whole book.
Yes.
And there wasn't enough build up and development to where she would realize it now versus a year ago or 5 years ago.
Yes.
I didn't see how we got from who she was at the beginning to who she was at the end. That would reveal to her more so than,
Yeah, that's actually a really great point. One of the things that was frustrating for me while reading this was I was so not satisfied, I think, with the writing style. Because I know that the author, I think some of the prose she wrote could be very beautiful and invoking a lot of imagery and using a lot of really great metaphors or whatever. But it always did feel, like you said earlier, just a little too juvenile, just a little too young. And it was so interesting because the things we talk about in this book are not suitable, I would say, for younger audiences.
No.
You would never read the stuff that's talked about in this book in a middle grade book.
For a 10 or 11-year-old. Yeah,
yes.
No.
But I was like, but why does it feel like I'm reading for an audience of that young people? I don't it was just frustrating for me. I also felt like the prose was really clunky. I don't even know how to explain it, but there were times I've got so many things written down and highlighted, but hang on, let me give an example. Still, it did not escape me how strange it was to sit by a grave of a bird who had been so much a part of your identity as a Fernway woman and as an islander, that her sudden absence felt like a loss so sharp and profound that it took the place of even your father or even your grandmother or even every Fernway woman who'd ever come before you. Oh, also, in every Fernway who who might come after. That's one sentence. Okay, listen. This book was filled with sentences like this. I was like, and it felt like, you know, she's got a very specific writing style, and it's very sweeping, and it's very like wordy and romantic a bit. I would say, like, it's just very like she invokes a lot of repetitive language consistently. And I think sometimes I'm like, oh, that's so nice. That's so beautiful. And then other times I'm like, okay, I don't understand what that sentence means because we had to repeat the same word 3 times in a row. And like the pattern can be great, but like this is my 3rd paragraph. And I also felt like things like in the beginning, way too many parentheses. Why are we having like 5 parentheses per page? I was so like, I did not care for the writing style, unfortunately. It was really hard for me to really get on board with that. And I think that really did do a lot of harm, in a way, to my reading experience, because I was just, like, a bit annoyed. Like, I had to, like, push past my grievances with the writing style. And so, so that was an issue for me. But I agree. Like, I feel like potentially it felt like she was talking to a younger YA audience while writing to an older, or writing about an older YA audience. And so that was a weird disconnect, and I do agree. I wonder if the reason why like things weren't so or were so obvious to you was just because like she was writing for like the younger YA, like the 12, 13, 14-year-olds.
Well, and speaking of like words and things, like there was a lot of like dancing around the explicit language, and I'm like, if we're writing about 17, 18-year-olds, like,
they wouldn't do that.
It should be okay to like say some of these words. And I thought for so much of the book, I thought that the word they were trying to avoid saying was witch. I thought that the Fernway girls like didn't want to be called witches because maybe that has like a bad connotation, and but then like I have on page 222, he's right, Georgina, this is why I didn't tell you. Nobody's going to believe me. Everybody knows I'm a ... and it says Fern, and then like in italics, Fernway, and then the B word, and then the S word. The Taylor Swift song word. Sorry, I just don't really say stuff like that.
I love that you're like up there, she's dancing around the language.
Yeah, but I didn't write a book.
No, it's true. I just think it's so funny.
Well, that's how you know it's an issue. If I don't,
if you're really calling it out,
and I was like, wait, what? Like, here's the other thing. So the whole thesis or whatever is that Peter, takes advantage of Mary, and so then that's like a traumatic thing that happens to her, and that's why she's like turning into the bird or whatever. And so it's like that, and so the point, I think one of the points that was trying to be made is that even though Mary did like to sleep around with all the guys on the island and she had all these flings or whatever, that even then she did not deserve to have someone force themselves upon her, even if she would willingly sleep with other people. I don't know, the way that Mary was described, I did not know that we were supposed to think she was so promiscuous. And like I just thought she was like, oh, I've had a few boyfriends, and I was like, okay, like that's normal, like teenage girl. And so then when the whole thing is like she's saying like she didn't want to tell anybody what had happened to her because everyone thinks she's an SLUT, then like, and no one would believe her. I was like, I did not know that was the general attitude of the people on the island that they would think that about her, because I just didn't get that vibe. I just thought she likes to kiss the boys, but like I didn't think it was like, it wasn't I don't know.
Wasn't
it did not
explicit
come
enough.
it didn't come across. So
Yes.
I was really shocked when those were the words, and the whole time I thought, oh, she just doesn't want to be called a witch, because that's like,
and
then I was like, wait.
See, okay, this is where I wonder if it's because I had known this was about practical magic, or based on practical magic going into it. That's very much the vibes of practical magic. Like the Nicole Kidman character is supposed to be very promiscuous. And so I think I just like I don't think Mary was very well discussed in like a promiscuous manner for kind of like that whole end argument, specifically from Peter, to have made sense, where like she's always flirting with men and she's always like hooking up with people and la la la. Like that did not feel accurate to the Mary I knew. But like I understood where her character kind of was going in a way, like if that makes sense. I do think too, one of my issues with this book was I felt like maybe this is just a me thing, none of the characters felt so well defined or formed outside of Georgina. Like I was just always viewing people through Georgina's eyes, which I mean is just, I guess that's kind of how all books work, but in a way,
I agree.
like it's like I didn't understand why I should, like, I don't think I really ever cared for any character other than Georgina. I only cared for Mary because Georgina cared for Mary.
Yeah.
And so,
in
the sense of, like, Mary being promiscuous, I, for a good portion of the beginning, just thought she was promiscuous because Georgina was so not. So, like...
Yeah, like they were foils of each other.
Yes.
I didn't know,
And so when, like, you know, I totally understand why it felt really blindsiding for you to get to the end and be like, wait, like, this is like a whole town thing? Like, everyone's low-key thinking this?
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting. But, yeah, I do think we needed so much more development of every character outside of just Georgina's own head.
Yeah. And that's also another thing I wanted to talk about is Georgina and Mary seem very, very close. Like, I mean, it makes sense. They're twin sisters. And I just, like, I had a hard I mean, I understand, like, if something traumatic like that happens, I know that it's very, very real that people feel very nervous to bring that forward. But I just felt like everything in the book made it seemed out of character for me that Mary wouldn't have been honest with Georgina about it, because it's like, in what other context had Georgina ever, like, made Mary feel like she wouldn't listen and she wasn't there for her? So that's, I think that's also why I just, like, was, I just was confused, because I just feel like there were so many words that were talking about Mary saying, I was with you last night, don't ask questions. And Georgina's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but she's like, but where was Mary? What happened? I wonder what Mary was doing. Like, I just feel like that took up so much of the book. And I was like, just ask your sister.
It was so crazy to me, actually, that, like, she would, in that moment, not push that.
Yeah.
Like, because everything up to that, to me personally, felt like, and also this is because I have sisters, I would have pushed that. I would have been like, what are you talking about? And then if my sister snapped, I would have been like, okay. And that could have been a whole moment of tension in and of itself. But that doesn't happen in it. Like, she's just like, okay, sure, I believe you. And she leaves and she takes her word for it. But then it becomes that whole, like, not even like a creator of tension. I just felt like that was a moment to just spiral around the same exact kind of
Exactly, because
you know
if Georgina is so willing to take her sister's word and
yeah,
okay, you want me to, you know, believe that you were not in the wrong place, then why wouldn't Mary also think that Georgina would take her word for something traumatic that had happened to her? You know,
yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me.
So for me, I think the Mary not wanting to talk to Georgina thing for sure makes, like, to me, I can believe that because I think people deal with trauma in all different ways, so
Yes,
that's totally believable. But like
Yes.
from Georgina's perspective only,
Yeah.
I don't understand Georgina's perspective.
Yeah.
Because it does not feel like that is
Yeah.
consistent with her character.
Right.
I
Right.
also felt
I guess
like
that's a more better way to think about it, because again, it's like, I understand when something traumatic like that happens, like, it makes sense that people don't want to. That's a very scary and vulnerable thing to tell anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, like, I guess it's more like, it doesn't make sense that Georgina wouldn't have
like
tried
pushed
to
or
ask,
asked or like
or
it also kind of hurt my feelings on Mary's behalf in a way, because they are so close. It felt like Georgina wasn't doing her not her like duty, but like as a sister, I would want my sisters to see something is wrong and try to comfort me. I don't know if that's what Mary's character particularly wanted, but that feels more true of a sibling bond to me.
Yeah, especially because there's so much description of Georgina saying Mary looks like a shrunken version of herself. She seems small. She seems cold. She seems aloof.
Hello.
So, like, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's so much. Okay. There's another inconsistent thing toward the end of this book, and I'm considering cutting this out if I don't like the way I describe it, because I don't want it to come off wrong. The character Peter, to me, was a very inconsistent character, and I know that his purpose of the character was to be inconsistent. It's tough. Okay, what's tough for me is, first of all, he's always, the whole entire time, I was like, this guy gives weird vibes, because he's the only time he comes on the page is to give weird vibes.
The thing is, I forgot about him.
Me too. I was like, every time he was mentioned in this book, I was like, what is the purpose of this guy keep coming back? So I was like, okay, obviously I'm placing that in the back of my brain. He gives weird vibes. Yeah. And so when he came back toward the end, and he's like doing his whole monologue of like, Mary's the one who killed Annabella. I was like, don't believe him. First of all, I know exactly I bet he was the one. And then second of all, why was that like 2 minutes? Like, that was not even like 2 pages of tension, by the way. The tension's broken immediately, because the next page, we're at Mary's, and Mary's like, actually he killed Annabella, and also he did this really horrible thing to me. Yeah. And I was like, okay, what was the point of even having him there and lying in the first place? That did not need to happen for me personally. I felt like it was just taking up page space. But then he turns into this very like mean, malicious, awful character, and we are supposed to believe that there were signs throughout the book that he would
pull a gun. Like, let's just say it. Like, I mean, it came out of nowhere. It literally came out of nowhere. There weren't signs.
No. she does mention how, I believe in the beginning, he and Georgina have a scene where he like has been writing Mary notes, and she's not responding, and he takes that negatively, where he gets upset. Yeah, he's like, you shouldn't play with people like that. But like, okay, I think his reaction there, knowing nothing about that character, by the way, not saying this is a overall general characterization, but like in that moment, I understood why he'd be mad about that. So that didn't read weird to me. Yeah. And so I was like, why is that being used as an example? I needed more.
Yeah. And I'm going to say something that, again, we can cut if it sounds bad. But I actually laughed out loud, like out of shock and surprise, when it said that he pulled a gun. Because I was just like, what? Like, what? I mean, I didn't even know they would have guns on this island. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems so out of place. And then this okay. So then he's holding this gun and he's threatening to use it. And Georgina is saying, like, narrating, I knew he would use that gun because that is what small, scared men did. They used things more powerful than themselves to make up the difference. They hid behind weapons of mass destruction, big guns and bigger bombs, and blah, blah, blah. So there's a message there, right? But, like, I'm just... to bring up weapons of mass destruction, big guns and bigger bombs. There's no other point in the book where we're thinking about like the world at large or America at large or military or war. And so that to me is taking this. So the author's trying to make a point that statistically there are men, we have school shootings and shootings everywhere, and that's a very real problem. And when and it's not every single time, but a lot of there's many cases where it's a man is upset about something and uses violence. And like that is something so real to write about, and to put it into like this one paragraph sort of, and try to make this overarching statement about mass destruction and bigger bombs when we're talking about this one guy on this little island. It feels a little to me like we're trying to say too much, to where the point that I think she's wanting to make, we end up sweeping right past,
sure.
And it's like, I don't know, it's just so hard, because it's like I don't want to criticize the point that's being made, because it's a good point and it's a real point, but I did not feel moved by this. I did not feel like I got a new insight. I did not feel like this is saying anything that's like not already apparent, unless you like don't follow news like at all.
Yep.
I just think like to make a statement about sexual violence and gun violence as the thesis of your book, and for it to only come in the last 25%, and then like Peter's a bad man because he sexually assaulted Mary, and now that people found out he's gonna use a gun, there just needs to be a little more care given to how we're talking about that. And I'm not saying that in like a sugarcoating type of way, but actually quite the opposite. There needed to be more realness and more like depth to it. I feel like we're just, to me it feels like there were these things that she wanted to write about. I want to make a statement about sexual violence, and I want to make a statement about gun violence, and we wrote those paragraphs, and then we just like made up a story to get to that point. And I just don't understand what we're supposed to take away from this. I don't understand.
Yeah, it felt to me like none of the major lessons, points, themes, whatever you want to say, of the book felt organic enough for me as a reader to feel like this, as you were talking about, was like consistent with the story I was reading, was something that I have felt I would feel an emotional connection or like have an emotional impact to or about. Because it just felt for me like I was reading words on a page about horrible things that were happening to these characters and the horrible things they're feeling, etc. Never fully getting the opportunity to like feel it with the characters. Instead, I was just reading about it happening. And it felt like she was the author was consistently walking us readers to the point again and again and again, not really giving us the leeway to go there on our own. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I'd get exactly what you're saying. I wanted more trust from the author as a reader. I think I was gonna say too, like things about like these characters, it's just so interesting. I found the whole point or the whole part of like Peter's him getting convicted as like a criminal for like sexually assaulting Mary, that part supposed to be satisfying was satisfying just in the way where it was like, wow, it's so nice that in this book like justice is served for a crime like this. There's a sentence where she says, his defense, quotes, she deserved it because she had already had sex with so many people, made the judge laugh because it's so laughably upsetting. In my opinion, I get why this was used, because it's like people who want to inflict violence on women can flip at the drop of the dime, it can one day be like the most safe person you feel comfortable with, to like all of a sudden this person is a criminal, a villain, he is out to harm me. That is a very real thing, and something that I think is interesting and important to talk about in literature. It did not feel consistent with his character. So much of this book did not feel consistent for me, because I was like, this same character who for so long like showered Mary with gifts, who like
letters, and like
he is capable of persuading people to try to be on his side, to like want to believe in his story, or like him or whatever. Like, he wants to be desired or liked by people. I don't think it should only be explicit to Mary. I feel like in the case, and this could have been a more interesting thing to explore too, like, what if he was in that defense room, like, literally, like, I just don't think he would have, like, so blatantly been like, she deserved it because she was a SLUT, you know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't have said that. Sorry, I
appreciated that.
But it just, like, it didn't feel consistent with the character. I understand in some way why she would do it. His conviction and any statement he has in court is not the purpose of the book, and the purpose of his character. It just, I think, is another kind of thing to put on the list of things that just didn't feel consistent to me in this book. The characters, particularly. So, I don't know.
And like, along with that, it says, like, you know, there was these questions that the court, like, as if out of a fairy tale, nobody asked these questions, because, again, out of a fairy tale, they realized that none of those things mattered, because there was nothing in a girl's history that might negate her right to choose what happens to her body.
Yeah.
We're just saying so much but it's not saying anything. You know? It's just like, and I think the sort of the saying, like, out of a fairy tale, nobody asked these questions. It's like, I think the author is trying to make a critique on society, but it almost, to me, made it like, I just felt like Georgina had such a beef with, like, the court, even though the court did the right thing. She's like, oh, but again, out of a fairy tale, like, nobody. And I'm like, why does she feel like that? Like, why? I don't understand. I don't does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
I think so, yeah.
Why is she saying, like, only in a fairy tale would nobody not ask these questions? But then the very next sentence is saying, because there's no reason that these questions should be asked. So it's like,
yeah, like, what was the point of saying in a fairy tale? I think this is gonna sound really mean. I don't mean for it to be as mean as I think it's gonna sound. There are some points in this book where it felt like someone trying to hit a word count, and I was like, I don't think we needed to have that. I don't think it came out as, to me, it rarely read, I think, as maybe the author was intending it for it to read. I just wanted it to be, I was like, we could cut this, we could simplify that. We don't need to have that grand sweeping statement that is supposed to, I don't know, make further commentary on something that I don't think really it actually did well. I don't know. I don't know.
So another point that I'm going to kind of transition to something else, if that's okay.
Yeah,
unless you had anything else. Another thing that was so interesting to me is this. We thought this was like kind of a romance book in a way, and
it was like a dash of romance.
So Georgina is like interested in this girl that shows up to the island. You know, I don't even remember her name.
Prudence.
Oh, is Val her friend?
Vera. She has a friend named Vera.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. The characters, I thought also there were way too many characters and that weren't very important. So
there was a lot of names.
I kept getting confused with everybody.
So it's like she's having. So I thought, at one point I'm like, it's a mystery about the bird. Then I'm thinking, it's a coming of age romance and learning about your romance but it. I thought that by the end of the book, she was going to realize she was in love with her best friend. She had way more chemistry with the friend.
Wait.
With Vera.
That, for some reason, I did not register that, but you're so right. You're so right.
She talked about how beautiful her friend is and how she loved her so much.
Yes.
And that's fine. I mean, I was like, but me and Danielle are really close. And
right. Like, I did not think anything weird of that, but you're so right.
But we're supposed to believe that she's, like, interested in this other girl, Prue, and, like, nothing was happening. I mean, they held hands.
Real slow burn. Yeah.
But I just, I just didn't feel this chemistry. And also, Prue disappears for half the book, and she's like, we kissed, and then I was nervous to talk to you. I'm like, girl,
why does it low-key become the Harrison show, where it was like I was more attached to her brother Harrison than I was Prue, which I thought that was so interesting. I was like, okay, I thought Prudence was going to be like such a bigger point of the story, but it was very much like definitely more of a side plot thing, which I don't think the quote-unquote romance was one of my favorite parts of the book. I think the self-discovery essence was very impactful for me. I mean, the most impactful thing I think in the book would be that.
Right.
But yeah, I did not exactly care specifically for that romance.
I just felt like, is she gonna discover that she actually has had like a childhood crush on her best friend? But like they had said that Vera, Vera or Vera, right?
It's spelled like Vira, I believe, like Elvira. I think is her real name. So that's what I've always been.
Vera. Like she was like not interested in dating, and I feel like that was like kind of the
friend zone,
the safety net.
Yeah.
For then Georgina to then be describing her friend in a way that I feel like sounded like she was romantic. Describing someone she was interested in, you know? So I don't know, I just found that so odd. It's like, I say I love you, and like we're super close besties, and we always joke about how we're like more than, like we need a level above best friend.
Oh yeah, like, before marriage,
because our friendship is just like so it's like I was trying to not like impose, because I'm like, girls can just be best friends.
Yeah, but if you think they have better chemistry, girl, that is so valid.
But I just like didn't understand. I was confused where that was going. And also, one other thing with the friend, she goes over to the friend's house, and they're like, "Let's get out a Ouija board and ask." Oh my god, I know. And me personally, I'm just like,
don't do that.
I would never engage in a Ouija board at all. Yeah. So I personally just didn't enjoy reading about it. Okay. But also I was like, it seemed so weird because we already have the sort of fantastical magical element of the Fernway family. Yeah. And then we're like kind of bringing this other sort of spiritual element in, but they're not like in conjunction at all.
That's so true. Yeah.
It just seemed disjointed. Yeah. And it also to me felt like a cop out to just be like, let's ask the spirit realm who did it. What? Like it just felt like, okay, so we don't have to actually do any investigative work in the community or to figure it out. It's just like, oh, we'll just we'll just ask somebody and then we'll get an answer, and now we know it's a bad man. And it's like it's like I feel like sometimes people do that with like the character has a really convenient dream that reveals something to them. Yep. And it's like sometimes the dream thing works, right? But sometimes it's just like, okay, you're just adding something in to get to the next point of the plot. Yeah. And that's how I felt about this contacting the spirit world. It just seemed like, okay, she didn't know how to, like the author didn't know how to get the ball
to
rolling
Yep.
for how to figure out who did it and how to make us believe that Georgina would believe that it's not her sister, because as the reader it's kind of seeming like, oh, Mary seemed like she was in the wrong place. But it's like, well, now we heard it's bad man, so
yes, I agree. It does feel like a cop out, and it also like you said, it felt like another jarring element that was just a little bit thrown in there that didn't make sense with the story that I thought I was reading. There's so many times when I was reading this where I was like, is this the book that, like, I was like, am I reading this completely? I kept telling B this in our voice messages last night, but I was reading this a lot at bed before I was, before I went to sleep. So there was sometimes I literally fell asleep with my Kindle in my hand, and I was like, where am I? So I was like, at some points, I was like, did I just like miss something huge? Like, I was like, where are we going? What's the tone? What is like the grand, even essence of this book? I don't know. But
I have an idea of what, given everything that we read in, like, within the context of the story, what I think would have maybe been better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the whole point was there's many points, but one of the points was we're supposed to see that, like, the Georgina in the past, or like the Fernway woman in the past, that they were like twins, and they kind of had an abusive mom, and then one of them could float, and then it turned into her turning into a bird, which is then what we believe to be the bird that's coming. That happened. She turned into the bird because the abuse was so bad, and she was so depressed, and it transformed her, because it was almost like it made her smaller and smaller. And then, the parallel we draw is that now Mary is starting to turn into a bird because this traumatic thing happened to her. That was the most interesting part that I wish would have been the entire point of the book, of how sexual assault would, like, it would be a really good metaphor for the way that sexual assault can damage and transform a person for the rest of their life. And they can heal from that, but it doesn't mean that it didn't, change them. And I think that was the metaphor that we were supposed to, that was intended. But I just feel like there's so much about this bird, and you have no idea that it would be related to Mary until like the very end. Well, and I wanted more. Like, I almost think the assault should have happened a lot. Well, I guess it happened early on in the book, but we needed to know about it and to see how that was hurting and affecting Mary detrimentally, and how that transformation, like how she's going through something that, a woman in her lineage went through something similar. I feel like
that's an interesting story all in and of itself. I agree. I just feel like it wasn't executed in the most interesting way.
Like, I think if that would have been the focus, like from the beginning, if that was the main story that was going to be told, and I feel like that would have maybe opened up the door better for the assault conversation that the author was trying to have, like the point she was trying to make about, no woman deserves this. But it's like, that's true. No woman, no man, no anybody deserves that to happen to them. But then if you think about like the parallel between the other woman, it's like, that turned into a bird. It's like, it feels like the point you're trying to make is that when something traumatic happens, it affects you deeply. So it's like that's two different points. It's like, what point are we going for? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And more than one point can be made in a book. Like, I'm not trying to sound like stick to one
things
thing.
Need to be dumbed down for the
but
reader.
It's like,
for sure.
I feel like it's like we're thinking, okay, the metaphor is the shrinking and turning into a bird is because something traumatic happened. But then the words she wrote on the page were not about that. They were about no woman no matter what situation or what history or what past she has, or man or anybody, like, deserves to have someone assault them.
Yeah.
Which again is a good point, but it's not really related to the metaphor or the parallel of the other woman. So
Yep. Yes, and that's so true. I do think one of the things I struggled the most with was just, it felt like this book was juggling too many things. Like, it was just too many things. Because we talked about this a bit last night, because I was thinking it would have been so interesting for it to have been from, like, Mary's perspective.
Yeah.
But I do think it is a very interesting choice to have the dynamic of the family and seeing it through Georgina's eyes. And, like, when people who you're so close to are traumatized in the way Mary is, I think that's a whole other interesting and worthy conversation to have around the sexual assault conversation. And so I do think that, like, yes, in a way, Georgina was, like, such an interesting choice for a narrator.
Yeah.
I do just think she was so disconnected from the real story. It felt like we were on two separate walks of a sort, and then at the end it, like, all kind of merged together, but it didn't feel like such a smooth mixture of everything. Whatever, that didn't sound good, but you know who cares? That was a bad metaphor. That didn't
integration
end up integration okay. But no,
I agree.
I think things could have been chopped. We could have chopped.
Yeah.
Honestly, sorry to say it, romance. I like the idea of it being a story where she is trying to come to her sexuality and herself before leaving the island. I think it could have been done a little more like, not so weirdly isolated from the Mary plot line.
That's the thing. A lot of things feel
just so isolated from each other on their own little islands. I thought too, what was such an interesting thing was, like, by the end you find out that Georgina's the only woman in her family to leave that island. And, like, if you told me that in the beginning of the book, I would be like, Mary's the one who's probably going to go leave the island, and Georgina feels more like someone who would stay. But by the end, they kind of switch those places, and Mary feels like she has to stay, and Georgina wants to leave. And I'm like, that in and of itself is, like, such an interesting struggle to be facing. Like, what, I have to leave my family. I love that focus. I would love that focus to have been more explicitly done in the book than, like, wait for the last to find out about that in the last 10 pages. I'm like, I don't know. I like the idea of having Georgina as a narrator. I wish it didn't feel so isolated from Mary. It was weird, especially because once Mary started cutting off a lot of contact with Georgina,
she just, like, wasn't there.
It becomes a different story than I feel like the beginning of it is. Like, she's telling us how close they are, how important their relationships are to each other. Once we lose Mary, Georgina goes off and becomes, like, goes on her own little story, and it just feels like I no longer felt like I knew what was important to actually to the story that I was reading.
Anyways, there's a few comments that I wrote. Let me see. Okay, on 237 I said, so Mary's just gone? And then on 245 I wrote, why is Mary just popping up and Georgina's acting so normal about it? I feel like she, like, turned into the bird, and nobody thought to ask where she was. Like, I just didn't understand if they were just like, oh, she's doing her own thing and we just have to let her, or if they all knew she was the bird, or I was just confused, because I was like, if my sister just, like, didn't show up for 2 days, I'd be making some questions.
Everyone's problem. Like, no, exactly.
And I feel like they just accepted that she was just gallivanting around. I'm like, what?
I sent you a voice message last night where I was like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused for a book that's, like, fairly easy to read. It managed to confuse me, because in my head I was like, what is the, like, status on Mary? And, like,
like, where did she go?
It felt so weird to me, and I felt like I missed something, because I was like, am I
Same.
Like, did I completely skip over something really important about Mary's whereabouts? Like, I was so confused. And of course, then there's that whole part with the eggs where they're like, we go into Mary's room, we check the eggs, we make sure the eggs are okay, and then one day the eggs are gone, and we're like,
Enough with the eggs. Also, enough with the word bird heads.
Oh my god, the bird heads. I was so over the word bird heads.
She needed to come up with like 3 different ways to describe the group of people that come to the island.
Yes, because
we can't use the same word over and over and over.
I felt the same way too with the way she was consistently saying Fernway women.
Yeah.
Fernway women. I was like, consistently. I would read that like 5 times on a page. And I'm just like, I get it. You could also say my family. Or like, I don't know.
The women that came before me.
Yeah.
All of us Fernways.
It was frustrating for me at points.
Yeah.
I feel like we're being a little too negative in my opinion, and I don't want it to seem like, I don't know. Was there anything about this that are there any positives that you want to share?
The thing is, it started out that I really liked it.
Yeah.
Because again, I was like, oh, it's got that middle grade feel, and and I was really curious about this whole thing with the bird and these people coming, and I've always loved the idea of like, you know, like summer camp or something. Like I almost felt like it was like a summer camp for like adults. Like, okay, we come every summer, and and I really liked that. But it just, as the book went on, it just kind of went in a direction that it just felt lost and confused. It's not, it's hard because it's not that I'm like, there was nothing good about this book. But I don't know. I feel like the elements that I liked at times didn't stay. Whatever I liked didn't stay that whole way. You know, like stay for the whole book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I see that for sure.
So it's hard to say.
For me, I thought the setting was a really interesting, kind of like what you're just saying. I thought that was maybe one of the most attractive things about this book for me.
I agree.
I loved the idea of them being in this isolated island town, and like
very different setting.
Yeah, and like the inn aspect was really interesting. The family aspect, I think, was so intriguing at points when it was, I think, done with a lot of intention and felt integral to like Georgina's storyline. I think the mom felt really misplaced to me at some points, and I was like, we need more of the mom. Like, I don't understand what the mom's doing. And Aggie, don't get me started. I don't even know who that is.
The chef or something.
Like she would come in to give like advice and support, and I was like, Aggie, like I forgot you existed, Aggie.
And the friend group was always like, there's like 15 friends, and then they just show up to like smoke weed in a circle, and then they leave.
There was one guy. Who kind of kept popping up, and I was like, "What?" I kept getting confused with Peter, and I was like, "Oh no, that's a friend." And then Harrison is the brother, and then Peter is the guy who helps out with like any chores they need done around the end. But like, I was just like things that were. It was just. I thought the family elements were interesting. I liked the small town feel of it. I did not like that the name was By the Sea, though. I honestly hated that it started with like, because like the way you had to, it just felt clunky every time I read it. Like, like
we're on by the sea.
Times like this and by the sea, I was like, whoa, 2 prepositions back to back, it was not dealing well with me. So that's I don't know. I think there's some points, and this is my thing just with magical realism in general, I don't think I really vibe with it as a concept or a genre very much.
And see, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do really like magical realism because I like reading realistic fiction. Like, I just like reading normal people. But I like a little zhuzh and a little sparkle. And so, like, something that kind of elevates it beyond just, like, regular people like me in a regular situation. I like when there's... just, like, there's just one aspect, and everything else about the life is kind of normal. But I feel like this one was almost, like... there wasn't... It's like, okay, everyone gets their power by age 18... but like some people have the same powers, but they're all different, but they come at different times. It was a little too random almost.
Yeah, that's my whole thing with, I think, the magical realism genre is I've definitely liked magical realism books in the past. it has to be done in a way where I feel like in the, unbelievable aspects of it all, it feels grounded and believable. You know what I mean?
The House on the Cerulean Sea.
Yeah, that's a really great example.
Yeah.
It's a really great So, I was even thinking, like, maybe in some ways, maybe it's more fantasy, but, like, I was like, the Starless Sea maybe feels like that.
Yeah.
It might go more fantasy because
more
we're kind of in like not real places.
There's a fantastical world.
Yes, but it's also really grounded in like New York City.
That's
and,
true.
Like,
yeah.
And, like just a guy who like was a college student. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's not about the Starless Sea. There were times where when I was reading this, I was like, like, I was like, I actually can't picture that. For example, the flood, really confusing to me personally to picture.
Yeah.
Especially there was an image where she was like, it started to like, this isn't exactly what the author wrote, but like it started to flood, and so we got into an umbrella and we kind of paddled our way.
I'm like, no way the umbrella kept 3 people afloat.
I was imagining like little mice in like an umbrella. Like I was like, this, I don't understand how this could make sense.
Like, what's that movie? Down the Rescuers. The Rescuers Down Under.
Fightful.
Like,
That's a great American Tale.
leaf.
Yes, no, that's exactly what I was thinking. I feel like especially like with the flood, I was like, I never knew how bad everything was. Actually, I was like, how damaging is this flood? Like, actually, how steep is this water? Like, they would like say, it
definitely was hard to.
It was hard to picture for me. It was really hard to visualize at a lot of moments.
Yeah.
And so, that was just. We were in our positives, and I accidentally went into a negative. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. But I, for the most part, I did appreciate the setting and the whole in aspect. I think that's such an interesting way to tell a story. Actually, is to like have the world come to them. So
okay. If you like that, you should read Drizzle, Dreams, and Love-Struck Things. Because they live on an island in the Pacific Northwest, and it's 4 sisters that
it's like Little Women-esque.
It's 4 sisters and their father.
Okay.
that own an inn.
Yes. Is it middle grade or is it YA?
No, it's YA.
Okay, maybe I will read that.
Yeah, they're high schoolers, and it's very cozy romance. It's just. And I don't read a lot of romance, and I really liked it. It was just so nice to read.
Okay, that sounds good.
But if you like the end, because actually I was thinking that this book reminded me of that one because it has that similar aspect of people coming to them, but their whole life is this little island basically. They go to the mainland a few times, but like more so than this one. But really they live on that island. But yeah, and I would say it's very true YA, like.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds interesting. Okay, well, guys, also, if you are somebody who enjoyed this book or maybe enjoyed elements of this book, that's a recommendation.
Yeah, for sure.
You've definitely talked about it before on the podcast. So.
Oh, I for sure have.
Yeah.
And there's a sequel that I need to read.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to. If there's anything else I care about.
I think that's good. It's just, sometimes you read a book and
it's just not for you.
It's fun that we were in it together.
Yeah. Like, I do think, like I said earlier, I know for a fact there is a group of people this is gonna appeal to. Like, in another world, I can for sure understand the appeal of it, but it's just like for me fell flat. I came in kind of already being like, I don't know how I feel about magical realism. So I don't know, I would love to hear people's opinions on why they enjoyed it.
Definitely.
I also wonder if like we did happen to read this, well, maybe not so much for you because you do appreciate middle grade still in your 20s. I feel like it's very much like the style of writing I felt too grown for it. So I wonder if I had read this when I was actually in the YA genre, the age range, maybe I would have liked it more.
Well, that's the thing is I felt too old for it too, even though I read middle grade.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I was expecting, because when I go into a book that I know is for 11-year-olds, it's like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be mad that it's for 11-year-olds. But like, but this, like, it felt like I was supposed to be reading something for 18-year-olds and I wasn't. So that was like,
so who's to say? Anyway, it was still it was entertaining because I just was like, wait, what?
It was, and it made for a fun episode with you.
Yeah. Yes. And also, like, I do want to stress, this is a weird book, and I appreciate people wanting to take the risk.
Yeah.
Write a book about a bird.
Yeah. Do it.
Go, girl.
I actually found that is actually one of my favorite parts. Is I know you said you didn't necessarily care
about the bird.
I did. I was curious. I cared really a lot for the people studying the bird and what they might. And their sort of camaraderie and their...
I felt like that was such a quirky element.
Yeah, this like ritual that they had around it. I liked that. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get that. that. Yeah. Well,
but that's kind of the end of what I'm thinking.
That's where we're landed.
I want to end it on a positive
on a high note.
So, yeah.
True. Okay.
Okay. Well, so thanks everyone for listening to Read the Last Page. Our music and illustrations were created by the amazing Sage Timothy.
If you don't know our schedule yet, we host our book club episodes on the first Friday of each month. So for next month, we are reading I See You've Called In Dead by John Kenney. That episode will be out on the first Friday of October. So be sure to pick up a copy and read it by then if you want to discuss it with us.
I cannot believe
October
Girl, is coming up next.
I can't even think about that.
I mean, like, it's not even technically September yet for us as we're recording. So thinking about October, it's like, whoa.
Laura, by the time we record next, I will be another year older. My birthday's coming up. And it's not a fun number for me personally. So.
I know.
I'm scared.
We've been making jokes and like now it's getting serious.
It's guys, it got real. It just got really real.
It's about to get real. Before we get to the last page though, we'll see you in 2 weeks for a catch-up episode where it's just your besties talking. You can listen to us on your podcast platform of choice, or if you'd rather watch your podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Read the Last Page. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, and Discord, and you can email us at readthelastpagebookclub@gmail.com. Especially if you like this one, we really would love to hear what you like about it. But for now, we want to say bye from B
and Dan.
Bye.